15 years.
Oh, fun. That seems like a big deal.
It's terrifying.
Oh, how come?
I just have I haven't spoken to him since then either, so it's a bit like, what do I do?
It's a little intimidating when you have to like talk to people that you have a deeper connection with, but you haven't talked to them in 15 years.
Exactly. So it's like, I know.
Oh, well, oh my gosh, Dana Delaney is here. I have to tell you guys.
Dan said he'll be here, but he's just getting his food.
Good. Oh, good. That's so fun. Dana Delaney is back.
Hi, Dana.
In the house.
Dana. I missed you.
Oh my gosh, you guys are wearing your Merrick me.
Yeah.
Just came in the mail today.
That makes me so happy. Dana. Oh my gosh. The Chipotle debacle continues. You guys, I have to tell you the Chipotle story, me and Dana. But I keep meaning to get you a stupid dinner, Dana, and I just haven't. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've been trying to get Dana a dinner forever. And then I sent it and the guy took off with it. And it was this big thing that Chipotle refunded. It's okay. They refunded after a ridiculous number of calls. Anyway. And then I messaged you like, okay, let's do this. But then like it was on Instagram and I didn't check Instagram for a week. So then I felt bad because you're like, tomorrow's great. And I'm like, oh, she's probably been waiting. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to go text her. And then I went to text you and I got distracted because my son's school is angry that we have a 40-cent debt because he got milk the other day. Anyway, it's been such a nightmare. So at some point in the near future, I will get you Chipotle, my friend.
Will be just fine, and it will be delicious and appreciated when it arrives.
And it will be there, unlike last time. Oh my gosh, that was such a mess. Anyway, we have so many awesome people tonight. Look at everyone here. Debbie's here, Kim is here, Dan's here, Jean Marie's here, Garrett's here, Jade, Andy, Lila. There you are, Lila.
Hi.
Hi. So good to see you all.
Jean Marie, you missed Garrett's Team Merrick sign the other day, Friday. Where were we?
Friday.
What day is it?
I actually watched that one.
Oh,
yeah, she watched the replay and emailed me.
And was steam coming out of your ears, Jean Marie?
No, his mug is awesome, but I was kind
know.
of like, what about Team Baxter? Come on.
I know.
Here. What about this?
Uh-oh.
Garrett's about to show us something.
Garrett, what do you got now?
See my hat?
No.
Oh, it
No, where's your hat? I
came.
can't
It
see
says Team Merrick.
Oh, does it? All right. I really need to up my game.
That is
Poor
the
Baxter.
coolest thing. What I love the mug the most. I think that's the one I really like, the mug.
Better, the one that says better than some son of a god.
Yeah.
that was
pretty-
good.
so-
That
Pretty
was good.
epic, Garrett. It's pretty epic.
That one was really good. Kudos to you on that one.
So I did get a t-shirt, guys.
You even got pink. I love
I
it.
thought I was ordering blue. And so now I have this t-shirt that's pink, and I am not a man enough to wear it.
Garrett, wear that pink proudly, my friend. You know, just
Can you exchange it?
Garrett, what size is it?
Shadow
that
box
one-
it and put it on your wall.
shadow
Right.
box. Oh, that's amazing. Oh
Just
my
like
gosh,
a
that's
just
so
like a
funny.
jersey, Garrett.
Yeah, I mean it is, right? It's your shirt for the team that you want to be on.
Katie, send it to Katie so she can sign it, and then you can box it and put it like
Garrett,
a
I,
team sport.
I just don't see why there's a problem with you wearing a pink shirt and it's the hashtag for another man on your chest.
and it says, "Will you marry me?" I was already hesitant to get to "Will you marry me?"
Garrett,
And then
this
it came
is
in
okay.
pink.
I don't know. I like it.
I got
Garrett, what
one more
size is
thing
it?
for you guys.
Wow, Garrett.
Oh
my
wow.
gosh.
so
Love
cool.
that
What?
one.
So this
Man,
one,
you are
this
an
one still
artist.
needs to be sealed.
That is amazing.
but
You are a
Katie,
true artist.
you will receive this one as well.
Like, I've got to pay you at this point, Garrett.
Oh no.
That
So
is
this
cool.
one, because
That
I
looks
felt bad
amazing.
about the no Baxter one, but I wasn't gonna make a Baxter one. So this is
Well, let's not
this
get
is if
crazy.
somebody
There
wins.
you go,
If
Jean-Marie.
somebody wins that is on Team Baxter, they can have this one.
Oh my gosh.
That's a sign I could get behind.
Yeah.
Definitely
Wait,
I could get behind
wait.
that sign.
Dana, are
Right.
you Team Baxter or Team Merrick? We've been debating for weeks, and I said I thought you were a fence sitter, but we were thinking you might be Team Baxter. We couldn't remember.
I was a fence sitter, but I decided to buy the Merrick t-shirt.
Yes!
Oh no! That's a choice. Jean Marie, we gotta find you a friend.
I feel really alone out here.
we gotta find you a friend. Oh,
I
Kelsey.
haven't met Baxter yet, so
Debbie. Yeah, Debbie might
Oh,
really like
so-
Baxter.
Oh my
goodness.
You just might like Baxter a little bit more.
So Jean
'Cause you know
Marie, you
what?
got to start recruiting because Garrett's
don't
coming
know.
in pretty
He-
hot.
Merrick is a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but he keeps leaving Bianca to go do his own thing.
He does the
And
same
then-
thing.
Like,
Mm.
I know they're
Saving
good
the
things.
world.
However, he just leaves her hanging and then comes back like everything should be all hunky dory. And Team Baxter, well, Baxter, at least he likes her for who she is, and he's not leaving her behind. He's going off to Malaysia, and she's going with them. I mean, come
Sure.
on,
It's true.
right?
Actually, this is Kelsey's argument. Kelsey is Team Baxter, and she says that
Yes.
that's the same issue she has with Merrick is that he like leaves on his protector mission.
So does
you're not
Bianca.
alone.
Bianca leaves too.
But she knew him as a
Baxter
protector,
does her
and
thing.
she knows. I mean, she has seen her father. She has grown up with that, and for her, it's the most natural thing that there are certain
They're
commitments.
better.
I don't
Then
know.
you have to
Jean
keep.
Marie, I think Derek is with you. I think Derek is on the don't go for this guy because he's too much like me, Jean Marie.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean,
she
you have
deserves
Derek.
better.
You have Derek.
We'll just have to wait till the next book, Forgotten Gods.
Yes. So you guys
But
will
look at
find
how
out.
wonderful. But look at how
July.
wonderfully Derek and Marie were. Yeah.
That's true.
No, they didn't. Not really.
She didn't feel
gone
like
on
she
a
was-
date.
Yes, she loved him to the max.
So Derek has guilt, but Marie didn't mind. Marie loved him. It was fine. I mean, there were
Yes.
struggles for sure, but Derek is now dealing with the guilt of it.
What marriage doesn't have struggles? There's no such a thing as a perfect rosy smelling marriage.
doesn't that come with
Eventually, you're
marrying a
gonna-
military man?
What'd you say, Debbie?
So then that's what comes with marrying a military man?
Yeah. I mean, that's what Derek is basically, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Jean Marie, you are not under
But I-
attack.
No,
we
I'm
love you
not at
so
all.
much.
I said I haven't met Baxter yet, so but
But I'm
as of
still
right now I'm
I'm
very
still rooting
married
for
but he's the
Baxter.
only one I know.
Good. You're totally fine to do so, Jean Marie.
even if I am out on that limb pretty much by myself.
There's Kelsey.
She's
Kelsey's
not.
there.
Neither of them are going to get it right. This whole thing that's going on, Katie's going to be like,
That would be
"Psych."
dirty. That would be
That would be
super
terrible.
dirty.
That would be terrible.
I can totally see you doing that, Katie.
Diane's like, I'm out. Diane would never
Yeah,
come back.
I'm not reading any more books.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna have to have like a support group. Like no matter what I do, like people are gonna be wanting to talk about this like crazy at the end of the Forgotten Gods, right? So, and all of you read so flippin' fast. We're gonna have to like launch it in the morning on Friday, and then that evening we'll probably have a call, and like half of you will be done. Especially in the launch team. Oh my gosh, there are people in the launch team that get it, and I like go to lunch and come back and they're emailing me. They like finished. It's so crazy. Anyway, well, Garrett, that sign is amazing. You have an impressive skill, and I can't wait to see who wins that. Mike and I met yesterday to figure out the trivia for the Prana launch, and we recorded a welcome video for the Prana trivia, which is really fun. So we're kicking off the Prana trivia is it this Friday?
Mhm.
No,
Yep.
it's next Friday.
No,
No, it's this Friday.
This
Yeah.
Friday.
What
You
day
said
is
it was this
it?
Friday.
For launch members, it's this.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't remember my name today.
It's
So I know, thank you. We're kicking this off this Friday and we have a video, and then we were planning some stuff out. And I can't remember why that applies to anything. What were we talking about?
The
Winning
trivia.
the sign.
Trivia.
So can we win
The
the sign?
sign.
Oh,
Thank
the
you.
sign. Yeah.
Thank you. I knew it looped. So Mike and I are trying to think of something else in the launch that would just be really fun, like for you guys to do to win the signs from Garrett. So you don't have to do trivia because not everyone wants to do trivia. So we're trying to think of something fun. So if any of you have ideas, let me know. We're taking them. Just
I
or
was gonna
maybe
say
we'll just pick.
the signs were down the road, right?
What do you mean?
As far as it wasn't for this launch, right? It wasn't
no.
for Piranha. Oh, okay.
No, we can do it. Yeah, we could do it so that they win it and then you just send it right to them, unless someone
was gonna
wants me
send
to
'em-
sign it or something.
I was gonna say I was gonna send it to you, so then that way you could sign it to whoever gets it.
Okay. Yeah. that works too.
But I just got to have kind of a timeline on when you want it, so I don't have to pay $100 for Express.
Oh gosh, no.
Ah.
And I would never ask you to do that. I don't think anyone here is expecting us to express their swag,
No.
right?
But
Now we
That's
had to wait this long to find out if it's Merrick or Baxter. So I guess we can, wait for the swag too,
Oh my gosh. What are we gonna talk about when you guys know?
Oh, we'll still talk.
There'll be something
Oh,
new.
we'll
Don't
still
worry about
talk,
it.
I'm sure.
Then the
you
daggers will
worry.
come out, and then it'll be not stirring so much. Then it'll be more of the jabbing.
Bloodletting. It'll be bloodletting. That's what it'll be.
My team won.
Oh my gosh. No, Jean Marie's
No,
so
no.
nice. She'd never do that. Just kidding.
Wow.
She wouldn't, but I
Good
would.
thing we're all on the Zoom.
Andy. Oh my goodness, you are all bloodthirsty. So speaking of, so those of you that were on the Friday call might have already had these updates, but if you weren't on the Friday call, Prana, let's see, I'm supposed to get Prana back any day now from the salon. The audiobook is at the salon getting beautified. That should be back any day now. Launch team is getting Prana on Friday because I know what week it is now. So Friday, you guys are getting your early copy.
Yay.
So that'll be really exciting. The beta
You're gonna
readers.
get 100 calendars in the mail now. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take it. It's better than the reverse. The beta readers are finishing Derek, and I'm gonna read you what Sam said. Sam is my toughest critic, which is why I keep her. That's why I keep her around. So she said, hold on. Oh, where'd it go? Okay.
Sit down.
She said, Katie, I've just finished Derek, and when I tell you it is superb, I mean it shines. It is carefully constructed and comes to a delicious cliffhanger. The readers are going to love and hate you simultaneously.
Oh no.
They'll be chomping at the
Cliffhanger.
they'll be chomping at the bit for the Forgotten Gods.
Down.
I'm so sorry. So
How much
sorry.
time is it? How
No,
much
you
time
don't.
is there between
No, you
Derek
don't.
and the Forgotten Gods?
Yeah.
4
Month,
weeks.
Andy.
For a week, wait.
4
No,
weeks.
but wait though, because I might be able to get it to. Hold on, let me consult the almighty calendar.
Does anyone else feel like they've sort of like, I keep feeling like, am I missing something? Why am I reading Katie? What's going on? My life feels weird. There's
It's been
Yeah.
so long.
did I miss a coffee thing and there's something I'm supposed to be doing? What's going on?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
No,
good,
I'm
Carol. It's
catching
not
up,
just me.
Not just you, Lila. Not just you.
I feel that in my soul, Lila. I actually feel the same way, but about my books. Like, oh my gosh, is there a book I've forgotten? Are there edits? What's happening? Is there an audiobook I didn't do? So yes, I feel that way. So the Forgotten Gods launches July 1st. That's a Friday. July 1st is the Forgotten Gods launch. But since it's so long, it's going to be like 90,000 words. So it's going to be twice the size of Derek. It might even be like 95. I might end up getting it to you around the same time that Derek launches.
Ooh.
So
Oh, so that we have time to read it before launch day.
yes. Yeah, the novels are the big ones. Like these novellas are super fun, but not everyone buys or reads them. It's just like the people that really love Alcara and like the story. Like, because I only offer them on my website. There are people that won't buy from me, so they don't get them. But then when the new books come out on the retailers, they'll read those, like the novels. So the novels are kind of our big launches. But since Derek is at beta readers, that means Derek is going to finalize probably next week. By the time Prana launches, Derek will be finalized. So what will probably happen is I'll probably get Derek to you guys early, and then I'll get the Forgotten Gods to the launch team early, so that you can. So it won't be July; it'll be like early June when you get the Forgotten Gods.
Yay!
And I offered this last time. If you're on this call and you're not in the launch team, just email me because I don't want anyone to feel like they're not like going to be able to get in on the launch team. And if you're coming to these calls, you should be in the launch team, basically. Debbie, was it you that I said you should probably read a little bit more
Wait,
first? Though?
yeah, I got to get caught up more.
Yeah. No, yeah. So Debbie is going to be coming into launch team, but she's still on the Dragon Master trilogy. So I was like,
Oh, wow.
I definitely need to catch up more as well.
Yes. Well, yes, of course. But I'll have you as soon as you're ready. I just don't want to put you into the launch team when we're like 9 books into a series.
Ahead, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting there.
That'll be fun. You'll get there, my friend. The books are always there, so no rush. So you'll get Derek a little early, and then you'll get the Forgotten Gods early. So you guys will have read Derek well before Derek and the Forgotten Gods before July. And actually, I think it might be wise, depending on how it works out, if you if you want to read Derek like after you get read Derek when you have the Forgotten Gods, so you can just like read and then go right into it, if that makes sense.
So we don't have a cliffhanger then? Is that what you're saying?
Well, okay. Oh, let me explain. Okay, so
That cliffhanger is sounding very dangerous, like really dangerous.
That's what I need to explain. That's what I need to explain. So the cliffhanger in Derek leaves a lot of questions that you're going to be excited to have answered, but Derek, the story wraps up, right?
Yeah.
So there is someone about to die as the cliffhanger, but you'll feel satisfied at the end. Okay. Basically what
we'll
happens...
be happy that Baxter dies.
Oh, this gets bloody.
Oh, he can't die because he's in Forgotten Gods. Andy,
I know.
You go.
How could he have died if he's in the Forgotten Gods?
Well, so
Oh gosh. Maybe he is, maybe he's not.
So this is what happens. It is war today, Daniel. It is totally war. So the end of Derek is the exact same time as the end of the Forgotten Gods. So when Derek ends, you're actually getting a hint of the end of the Forgotten Gods.
Oh.
So that's why I'm saying.
Andy might be right.
Someone is going to die.
Oh,
right?
man,
No,
I'm scared.
Well,
now.
a lot of people are gonna. I mean, it's war, right? A lot of people are gonna die.
A lot of people are gonna die. Great.
All I'm trying to say is,
Katie loves to do this to us.
you love it too. Don't even act like you don't.
Yeah.
You would not be on this call.
Yeah.
Lila's like, yeah. So basically, when you read the end of Derek, you will get a glimpse into how the Forgotten Gods, like you kind of get a hint, but it's not even going to be a spoiler. So Samantha and Mike, I don't think Kaylee or Carrie, but Samantha and Mike know the storylines and how everything ends. And they approved before I went forward into it. And then as it's unfolded, as they're reading, they have loved the layout. So the timeline seems a little crazy, but the way it comes together, I think you're really going to like. It's really exciting.
Of course
So
we
you'll be
will.
satisfied,
Yeah.
but there's going to be a lot of questions, right?
After what you just said, I'm glad you're giving us those both at the same time.
I know. I'm kind of wondering if that's just how we should do it, if we can. It's all about production is the problem, because I can't guarantee the audiobook for the audiobook launch team early. And I feel bad like giving it to some, but not to others. It just
But
depends.
it's like delicious torture. It's delicious
is.
torture, don't you think? You know, there is some sort of deliciousness in the torture.
Of
Or is
course.
that only
I
me?
like it. Yes.
But aren't
Oh.
Go ahead,
isn't
Dana.
your audio launch team, aren't they kind of duplicates of your other launch teams?
Sometimes some of them are, but like there's people like Garrett and Andrea, and there's a couple others that are only audio. They aren't in the other launch team. They solely do audio. They don't do any paperback or ebook. So
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna like stop 100 people in one launch team from getting it early because of like a handful in the audio, if I can help it. But it's just all according to how the timelines lay out. So I'm gonna try really hard to get the Forgotten Gods and Derek to you guys around the same time, just so you can kind of go from one into the other, because it's a really fun weave, like when you get the two stories together. And then, oh gosh, you guys. So the Forgotten Gods, the way it ends, like just a lot happens in Alasia, right? So that's all I'm gonna say. So I tried like wrapping it all up, but I couldn't. I couldn't. Like just because of the way it ends and the shenanigans, like
That word.
there was no way to do that. So I have written a 20,000 word novella. That's the secret novella that I can't tell you the title of.
Oh.
That immediately comes off of the Forgotten Gods. It is written. It will be available like the day the Forgotten Gods goes live. It will be available also, so that you can go right from the Forgotten Gods into this novella that kind of wraps up everything that happens and gets you ready for War of the Gods. And I just finished that this morning. So I think there will be people that aren't happy that I'm wrapping up the whole novel like in a separate novella. Like I've been accused of like having cliffhangers just to sell the next book. Like I've had people like get nasty, be like, oh, it's just a marketing ploy. She's trying to sell another book. But I think once you guys read it, you'll understand. Like there was no way for me to do it any differently.
I mean, that's not you anyway. You're not that person anyway. I mean,
Thank you, Lila. So I even tried writing War of the Gods, like so that it settled all the questions from the Forgotten Gods, but it just took over the entire story. It's like Prana. So that's why I was like, we're just gonna do this really fun novella to kind of explain the new world as they know it after shenanigans in Alasia and then into War of the Gods. So I spent like 2 hours today plotting and working on War of the Gods. So I'm almost halfway done the first draft of War of the Gods. So
Well, we know somebody's going to die. Who would have even, I mean,
right.
Who would have even expected that Camille and Brecken were going to die in
yeah.
War of the
Yeah.
Networks? I mean,
it's
it's
not.
hard to make us cry, but you know.
Yeah, there was kind of a spoiler there, everyone.
Oh, shoot. Oh,
Well, wait,
Debbie, plug your ears.
I've read it. I read it. I was just
Oh, okay.
I would have stopped you. I didn't see it coming.
everyone else here has read War of the Networks, right?
Yes.
No, I don't think Jade or Daniel have. Yeah, I don't think Jade or
Oh,
Daniel.
well, then
It's
I
all
have-
right. It's all right.
think-
They've got a lot to get through by the time they get there. So it's a
have-
long way yet.
They'll
So
have forgotten.
they may
I mean,
just forget everything you
I have
heard.
a pretty good memory, but like
I can.
No.
It's fine. I mean,
spoilers are spoilers.
Oh,
What do you
because-
expect?
I can't.
it's all
I
good.
can't. I have to watch how I word my story. Remember, I told you I had a story for
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I
Because-
know it's tough.
the other night. My son and I'd gone to the store, and we come home, and he goes up to his room. He's like, "I'm going to go watch my show," and I said, "That's right. I'll be down here in my book." And I was reading War of the Networks, and he's like, "Fine, you do that," because he's always giving me a hard time about always having my nose in a book. And I don't know if you saw my post about how I cry when I read.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Carol.
We all
Carol's
do.
like, yes.
Yeah.
movies and all of that. Well, I'm sitting down here and I get to a specific part in that where two different people die at the same time, and I'm just down here cursing you, Katie.
Lila's
I'm
with
like,
you. Yep.
I'm like, how could you do that? One and then the other, and at the same time, and I'm just bawling. My son yells from downstairs, "Are you all right down
like,
there?
no.
Leave me alone in my book."
Physically, yes. Emotionally, I'm a wreck.
It's true. I know. It's rough. And I mean, right, like someone's
And
gonna
I was
die in
right
War of
about
the Gods.
Isabel,
Yes. That's a big surprise we won't spoil.
right?
But yes, you were.
I messaged Katie about that.
She did. Yep, she did. Which is fine. Andy messages me all the time. I love it. I know when
I
Andy's
get
finished a
so
book.
wrapped up in all those questions that start popping in my head.
does.
I can't
And you
stop
got nobody
them
to
until
bounce
I
it off
write them
with, and you're like,
down.
"Hey."
I know. That's why we need to start like a monthly book club where we either
Yeah.
we could do my book so everyone can talk about it, or we can do other people's books. But
Yeah.
it's after you finish a book, you
Oh
just
no, there's plenty in yours.
I know, that's true.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
be pretty
There's,
easy.
there's plenty in
Everybody's
yours.
here.
I know.
I've
and
actually
there's
got
a new
a
one every month.
question, but
Yeah.
I've got a question, but it's not a spoiler if we word it right. With the going back to the dragons, you know how the heart scales.
Mhm.
How would you describe them more fully if you were to wear them as a necklace?
You know what? That reminds me, Sharon, one of our other Aussies, found an orange heart scale necklace on Etsy and she sent it to me and I haven't gotten it. So I need to email her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that I was just wondering what you saw, not what other people see.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, so I know I've described the shape of Ludius's scales somewhere in the Dragon Master trilogy. I can't remember where. But some of the dragons have different shapes of scales. Like some might be kind of more like a teardrop. I see them like thicker against the skin and then they kind of come out. But for a heart scale, they're actually in my dragons the smallest, softest scales, right? So they're like the more impenetrable ones. So I've always pictured them probably like the size of like a coin, like kind of small, and they're just a little softer.
Yeah.
And then like a burnt orange, maybe threaded with like yellow or some darker like orange, but they're black, right?
Yeah.
So black, it's more black
yeah.
threaded with orange and a yellowish orange kind of. That's how I've always pictured it.
Yeah. Which is that was one of the explanations of the fact that they were black with the spots of orange that glisten through and stuff. And I was just wondering size and stuff because I also saw some and I just sort of looked at it and went, I don't know that that's quite Katie's version. So I was just curious to know a little bit more detail because it says scales, not scale, not one scale.
Yeah.
Like there's more than one scale. So the fact that, pendants can be shaped so differently. Do you know what I mean? And I can't remember if you wrote a description of the shape of the pendant, and I can't find it anywhere because the only, you know what I'm saying? And
so I think we first see the orange heart scale in Merrick's short story in Short Stories from the Network series.
Yeah.
When he meets Sana.
Yeah.
I think that's the first place we see the heart scale.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll have to figure that out because I'm planning the Sister Witches saga, right? So Sana will eventually have it. But I think the most important part is I really think his are like more of a triangular scale, if I remember right, but I don't know. I can't even write my own books. Prana takes over.
There's a lot of
and
people
they're black.
Yeah.
And then they're black with the kind of dappled orange.
They'd have texture in them too, wouldn't they? They'd not.
I see them as almost
shiny. They'd have.
Yeah, they would kind of have some texture.
Yeah.
I mean, some of like maybe the more feminine ones might be sleeker, but oh, look at that puppy.
Oh, he's a cow.
She's a cow.
There's a puppy.
Layla, did you ever see Dragonheart?
Oh. Yes. Oh, yes.
Remember at the end when he raises his heart scale?
Yeah. His is a bit bigger.
Yeah, mine
from
are
from
smaller.
memory.
Yes,
I think.
I haven't watched it for
Yeah.
a while, but that just came to mind.
Well, but it's all relative too,
Yeah,
right?
I
Because
remember that.
dragons are like, Ludius is
Lay
like
down.
5 to 7 times Sana's height, right? So like, I think Sana classifies by witch height. So she says he's like about 7 times taller than her. So small scales on a dragon would still probably be fairly big, where the bigger scales are going to be like wider, you know?
Should I just imagine that's a big necklace? You know?
It's like a breastplate, actually. It's like freaking armor. We should, I think
Wouldn't
that would
be awesome?
That would be the coolest swag, right? Like that would be the funnest swag if we could.
And that's why I'm sort of trying to eke a little bit more out, because it's
Lila's
like I
trying
can
to
just-
up level Garrett's.
no, not at all, not at all. Garrett's done a beautiful job.
I'm just
She needs
teasing.
to find another creative thing to do.
Hey, I'll take it. If you want to make a heart scale for Ludius, for sure. Yeah, well, Lila, let me look and see.
Yeah.
Let me go look through the short stories. I'm going to be recording their audiobooks soon, and then I'll have like a better idea when I get the audiobooks.
And like you said, there's like, you know, you'll be doing the sister anyway, so it'll be
The Sister
coming
Witches
up
saga.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I love
I
Isadora.
know Isadora is really fun. I was listening to Freedom when I was driving home last week. Maybe I told you guys this already. I can't remember who I've talked to.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, like what day is it, right? Like, oh, it's been a week. Anyway, so now that I finished I finished the Forgotten Gods second full draft. So that's a really big deal. That means the manuscript is like 70% done, because the second draft is where I basically have bones and then I put the body together, right? So now I'm just like making her pretty. So that was a big deal because the ending came together the way I wanted. I finished after working 6 hours straight on Tuesday. I was able to finish the Forgotten Gods. So that was a huge hurdle. Now that that's done, and the secret novella is first drafted, and once I kind of get a little farther into War of the Gods, then I will start dedicating a couple hours every week into the Sister Witches saga, so that I can start like getting that plotted out and figured out, because I'm really toying with the idea of making it a collection of like 50,000 word stories, which is about the length of what Derek is. It's like half of Miss Mabel's School for Girls is like 97,000 words. So about half of that. And then they would launch every 2 to 4 weeks or something. So
Yoo-hoo!
that's kind of what we're looking at. I don't know if I can do 2 weeks. It depends on how fast in advance I can write it.
Yeah.
If I can start writing this summer, then we potentially have a chance, but probably every month. So anyway, so I'll be figuring all those details out. But Lila, if you're doing a project or something, just let me know. And anytime you have questions, and we can kind of riff some ideas off of each other too.
Cool.
Yeah. Did anyone else have any questions that have popped up in the last week? Most of you have read almost everything. So
I have a question, but
Yeah.
it's not Katie book related. It's more of a, you're a writer and you can explain something to me.
I hope I can.
All right. Are there any rules for example, like when there's a character that's looking for redemption, or or maybe he's not, like, okay, so he starts as a total jerk, and he eventually grows.
Maximilian?
No.
Maximilian wasn't a jerk.
No,
No,
I
it
told you
wasn't.
it's not a Carrie related book. Just when I read the Divergent series,
Oh,
I always disliked. I don't know if anybody else has read it.
yeah, I did.
Diane's
did.
like,
All the
I'm here.
movies.
Yeah, I've read it.
All right, so I hate the way the writer just left her brother to be an asshole.
He was an asshole.
He was.
He was an
Yeah.
asshole, but
He was.
I mean, you would
He
think that
was.
after 3 books,
He
I was
definitely
mad when
was.
she took his
something.
place.
you know. So and that has always bugged me, that usually characters that start off as jerks, eventually when they see so much or that the main character is so heroic, or whatever, it kind of rubs off on them a little bit, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And this character for me was just so flat. Like he was a jerk from the beginning, he was a jerk throughout the series, and he ended up being a jerk at the end of the series. So as a writer, is there no like a rule that your characters have to grow even a smidge?
I guess it depends on what you want from the character, right? So if you're kind of like, well, this person is just a total jerk, and then you're like, well, just leave him as a jerk. He'll just be a flat character. So there's dynamic characters and there's flat characters. And dynamic characters are the ones that change. Flat characters are the ones that don't. Like Martin is a flat character. He doesn't like, he's like reached, he's awesome. We love him, right? We don't need him to like really change. But flat characters can become dynamic characters later. Like they can change, even like you said, a smidgen. So if as an author, I'm looking at my reader experience and I'm thinking, what do I want them to feel toward this like character? Then if I'm like, I don't really like, I use this character to make my main character's life more difficult, then maybe I would leave him that consistent way because I don't care if he changes, right? But she also might have just said it's not worth making him good because I want my emphasis somewhere else for my readers or something, you know? So it's there's no like hard and fast rule. I think the only rule that comes into play there is that even in the biggest jerks, like you can redeem the biggest jerk, right? They just have to have one thing that a reader can like connect with them on. Like there just has to be one thing. So for Maximilian, I kept him from being like too like intense and frustrating and all that stuff because he was so closely like aligned with advocacy, right? Like he wanted to make the world a better place, even if he was really grumpy while he was doing it.
Yeah, he was grumpy. He wasn't jerky.
So grumpy.
He wasn't a jerk.
Yeah,
right?
you
But
see
you can
that
forgive
there's kind of
that.
like a difference.
Yeah. You can forgive that because he has this redeeming quality that you hold on to, and then that redeeming quality opens the door for them to grow. But if you never give them a redeeming quality, they can kind of come off flat, and then readers are kind of like bugged by it. So it's always a gamble if you leave a flat character that's mean that way, because if you don't ever give them some reason to have changed, then people just don't like them and they're kind of like a blah on the story, you know?
And I think that kind of killed part of that story. I don't know if among the others that read that story, if they felt happy with the ending of the book.
No, I didn't like it. Did you? I like the movie ended differently, and I like the way the movie ended differently.
Well, the movie, they are missing the third book. They said they were never going to make it because they had like a lot of problems with the cast because they wanted to make it a TV movie, and the cast had a contract for a theater movie. But from all the people that I've talked to that have read that story, 99% are not happy with the ending.
No, I wasn't. I was mad.
And I heard an interview with her, and she was like, well, I have to be true to my characters. And yeah, you have to be true to your characters, but a sibling that's connected to such a hero and isn't able to change is something most people, I think, will not buy. Because whether you have,
I know people like that.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean.
I do. I actually know people like that. Like one sibling is the most amazing sibling, and the other one, it's like, where did you come from? Like, how could you be so different from the other sibling?
But
and
eventually
be brought up by the same parents.
Eventually, don't they affect each other in a certain level?
I think
no.
Go ahead.
So
Garrett,
here's my thought on it.
Go Garrett.
How long have we been talking about this book now? 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Did the author do their job? It left an impression.
Oh.
It started a conversation.
Valid.
Well, but you have
not
to
a good
define.
conversation.
Yeah, I say Garrett,
and it's not a book I'm gonna recommend. I mean, my
or
niece was
read
like,
more of, or read more of, right? Like
yeah,
I
was
like
like,
trust is
"Bah."
broken.
Yeah.
Trust is
Because
broken.
it didn't feel real. It was just such traumatic events that you really felt like this character could have been affected and should have been affected. Like Lila says, maybe he wasn't, because he was just a jerk, and we all know jerks that don't change, but still, you know, again, it's a book I will not recommend.
I love that trust, what you said, Katie, about the trust. It broke the trust. And I think that's what it is for me with authors. Like, you know how we know when we pick up Katie's books that we're going to go for a ride, but we'll be satisfied, you know. And even though she tortures us, it's good too. You know, and so because she knows how to sort of, so for me, I think it's the sort of authors I choose too. And yeah, Andy, I don't go back to them when they do that. I don't go back to those authors.
I think too, what some authors forget in pursuit of honoring their characters is actually they're breaking that trust with the reader. But readers come to books because we don't want real life, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are reading my books because you want to go to Alcara.
We want heroes.
Right. We want heroes. We want change. We want endings. Because in real life, we don't get endings the same way that you do in fiction, right? So in real life, you get the happily ever after. Like the couple gets married, there's a first kiss, and they continue on forever in Pineville, right? Like it's all so fake. But we want that. We want that. And when you don't get that closure, it feels too real, and you don't get transported, and trust is broken, and it's just yucky, and you're like not satisfied.
I mean, you know, people are gonna die, you know, in like, especially in those dystopian sort of books. You know, people are gonna die, and you are in the mindset that you're gonna lose people. But you're also in the mindset that people can change and people can come back to goodness, and that, you know, people really, really can be good eventually, you know. So yeah. She was like, bleh. I even gave those books away. When I bought the box set, I bought the hardcover. I was that into
That's
the
even
books.
worse.
And then that ending was so like bleh, bleh, that I had to get rid of the books. I gave them away. I was like, look, these books are not, they have a crappy ending.
Oh, Maze Runner.
It's not a really good book, but do you want them? And my niece was like, yeah, sure. Because I think she saw hardcover and her mom only buys her paperbacks.
She's like,
so she was going to get, you know, but yeah. So please keep writing the way you do.
Oh, of course.
Your books are the kind of books I am not getting rid of.
Oh, excellent. I love that. Jade, I've heard a lot of other people say that Maze Runner was hard for them because of like, I haven't read Maze Runner, but like the twist at the end, and I just from what I've heard, a lot of people were unsatisfied. I've met, what's his name? Who wrote that? I've met him. He also like went, one of his books became a Netflix show too. Anyway, he's a really nice guy. But yeah, I think authors tend to like not land the ending, right? Like you can have this great build up, and then I think authors lose me more on endings than anything, where I'm like, did you like read the beginning of your book? like where did this ending come from? I feel like that happens more for me than anything.
They got lost along the way, along their own rabbit trail.
And I do that too, right? Yeah. But that's why I have so many beta readers on my team that are just brutally honest, that will say like one of my, I think Derek has like 100 and something pages on my Google Doc, and there's like hundreds of comments that they just like bleed all over it, but it makes the story better. So I'm excited by that because I want to make sure all of this is tied up and everyone is happy and walks away happy. So. But not, and the other thing to think about, isn't it Veronica Roth? Is she the one that did Divergent? Or am I thinking? Okay.
Yeah, I like her writing.
Yeah, I started the first book and then I couldn't deal with the love triangle. If I'm remembering right, I don't think I finished. But I don't finish a lot of books. But if I remember right, did that first book go really big, and then the other three went big, like were growing in popularity as she wrote, or was it really big when all three were out? Does anyone know?
I thought they were all big. I don't know. I liked her writing.
I don't know.
Because that's actually another factor that I think has more of an effect on an author than you might think. So if you have like Veronica Roth, it'd be interesting to figure out the chain of events in Veronica's career that led to Divergent coming out, because if you have this book explode, right? Like Twilight, and Divergent wrote off of Twilight. So Divergent was really coming into the shadow of Twilight when people were wanting more books like Twilight, and Veronica Roth kind of rose above. You have this psychotic fandom that is all of a sudden like coming into your life. That can be really hard to write your books because there's literally no way to like win. So when she was saying, I'm just going to be true to the character, she might have sort of been lost in what the books became without her, because fandom can kind of take books and make its own thing out of it. I read an interview by Veronica Roth where she said she had fans like sending hate mail and death threats to her house, like after she wrote books, and that they were acting possessive of her characters. Like they became so engrossed in her story that they felt like the characters were theirs, and anything she did with them, they were upset about. And she was talking about how scary that could be as an author. So that's something else to kind of figure out. I feel like Ali Condi in the Matched series kind of did that as well. Like she did Matched with Ali Condi did Matched. And then I feel like by the third book, I was like, where's this going? Like, this is so different than like what it started from. But again, I think there was some traction that carried those books a little higher, and it can affect the way the author presents the books in the future because there's just tremendous pressure, right? So that's something else that you might not think about as a reader, but I've always been like, I'm so glad my books picked up so much steam after they were like written, right? So that I like, they were just there and I didn't have to write them under the same duress when I was early in my career, because a lot of these authors don't have experience, right? Like I have a lot more experience now, so I kind of know how to manage that pressure and the attention, but a lot of authors don't when they start, and it affects the way you present a book. So that might be something else too. But I'm sorry you didn't like the books, Andy. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, I call myself crazy fangirl, but now I'm gonna have to change that because that's really crazy.
Yeah, I never
That's
get,
crazy fan stuff. My God.
that's like way too out there. And I did read, for example, The Maze Runner, and I loved it. And even though there's, characters that change, characters that don't change, that story felt a bit more, I don't know how to explain it, but I was satisfied with that ending. I was sad about it because you want certain characters to live and certain characters did not live.
Yeah.
But still, I felt satisfied with it. With the other books, with the Divergent series, I was really just upset. It was like, okay, you made me go through all this roller coaster for squat. I mean, it was not worth it. We went up, down, we were happy. And after 2 books that she's been able to cheat death, you might say, and at the end, you have her die in the most idiotic way.
That made me mad, that part.
That was like, at least give her sorry if I'm spoiling the book for other people, but it's really books that I would not recommend. It's you have this really big hero, and it's like saying Superman's gonna die because he slipped on a banana peel, and you're like,
oh, fair.
Oh, dude,
that's a great metaphor.
I like that. Yeah.
Andy, that's amazing. Jade agrees with you. She didn't like the end of Divergent either. Well, I'm not too excited to go read it because I didn't make it through the first book, so you can spoil whatever you need for my part, but other people might not want it. Jay says it's really true.
I haven't been disappointed with any of your endings of your book. Any of your books. I can't remember any of them that I've gone, at anything like that. I've always felt like.
I think that's going to happen in the
I know!
Gods
That's
show,
what I was
Baxter
thinking.
So this is going to be so interesting.
What's going to happen?
I need an opinion.
Yeah.
So my husband and I, so we're in Southwest Florida. On this Saturday, we're driving to Virginia, And because my husband's been sick, he's not driving yet. So I have to do all the driving, which means I said, oh, we'll be able to listen to some audiobooks. And he said, are those Katie's? And I said,
Oh,
well, yeah.
What kind of question is that?
Probably. And he's like, well, I don't want to, you're already all the way through them. I don't want to jump in. I won't know. You'll know what's going on, but I won't know what's going on. But so I was going to do the Lost, I was going to start with the Lost Magic and listen to the audiobook of the Lost Magic, but he might be frustrated, won't he? So I really should.
I mean, you could give him like a 30,000 foot, like, this is what happened in the network series, because I mean, if he doesn't really get the full Almor and Magic story, that's okay, because it's a whole new enemy. It would just be the people, right? Like it would really at that point just kind of be the characters. So if you sort of explain the backstory of the characters, then he might be okay. I don't know. I'm probably not.
He's never going to actually read them.
Sure.
Oh, if he's not going to read them.
But I don't want him frustrated for this.
Give him a little
essentially
synopsis.
18-hour drive.
Well, are you
another
willing?
18 hours back.
Are you willing to like pause it and explain when he asks questions?
Well, of course.
Then I think I would honestly just give him the synopsis, like the highlights. Like Bianca's like 22 when this story starts. She was 17 in the other book. It's been 5 years. Things happened, right? And then I would focus more on the characters. Shenanigans. There were shenanigans. I would focus more on the characters and their relationships with each other than the plot of the network series, just because I think the network saga is 3 years later. It's a whole new foe, like it's a different enemy, that kind of thing. So I think it would probably be fine. And then if he's like lost and you can pause and give the backstory, I think it'd be fine. My husband and I do that, like when we're on long car rides and he's listening to a podcast, or I have a book and or he has a book, and we'll kind of explain it to each other so that everyone can keep up.
So Jade,
But
I could start from the beginning, but I just started from the beginning a few months ago. And so I don't
She's
know
like, no.
Well, I'm on the audiobook launch team. I probably need to keep moving along in these audiobooks.
You're fine. You're totally fine.
It
takes a while.
I'm listening to
do you reckon, Dana?
Yes.
Dana, don't you reckon though, the way Katie does it, it's like, it's not like necessarily a continuation. Like I feel like you could pick it up and just start
that's what
reading,
I thought too, but I wanted
listening.
somebody else's opinion.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, Carol? You know what I mean?
Yep,
like
absolutely.
it's like, it's not like, yeah. So it's, even if you know nothing about it, Katie doesn't write it in a way that you go, but I don't understand why that's happening, because you give enough for the reader reading at that point. So it's not like, yeah. Did I explain that all right?
Yeah.
I followed.
I'd be interested to find out if he gets hooked and he has to go back and read them all.
Yeah.
How's he doing, Dana?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
He's doing a lot better.
Praise the Lord.
He progressed from walking with a walker to now he has a cane, a walking stick. That was actually his dad's. And so that's kind of cool. He's using his dad's walking stick. It's a bamboo carved sticks, so it's kind of cool. And we go to the doctor tomorrow. We had a scare in the middle of last week and spent the night in the ER. His electrolytes were off, and so causing some chest pains and stuff like that. But
was it his potassium?
Yeah, potassium and magnesium.
Every time. That potassium's a real pain.
So, but he can't keep drinking Gatorade because that's got too much sodium. So then that balance the sodium potassium gates and all that good stuff. So anyways, it was a long night, but glad it wasn't another heart attack.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, Dana, I'm so sorry you guys have been through the ringer the last couple months.
We'll keep on saying prayers.
Yeah, absolutely. Prayers up.
It's I don't know where you guys lean on that spectrum, but firm believer here that God has shown up in big ways.
Awesome.
So it's been pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Miracles exist.
Yes.
Yes.
He is a living, walking, breathing example of that.
That's
So
awesome.
it's kind of cool. But
How
thank
are
you.
you doing in all this, right?
You know, it's really funny. Everybody asks me that, and I don't really have a good answer. I'm tired. But for the most part, I'm fine. Like I'm healthy. I'm fine. And I feel
You're
really,
surviving.
yeah. Well, I mean, I feel really well supported. I feel like I'm doing a little better than surviving.
You
Not
feel
happy with-
blessed.
I do really. And I feel really supported. It's kind of crazy. I joined a ladies' Bible study group in January, and then I had knee surgery in February.
Sweet.
And my husband didn't live here in Florida yet. So I just had my 17-year-old daughter, and the surgery center wouldn't let her be the one to pick me up. And I'm like, I'm just here. I don't have anybody. And ladies from my Bible study group just stepped in and one of the ladies picked me up and brought me home. I'd met her one time. And
That's awesome.
and we've become really good friends. And then even through this, they have been great, and they've dropped off dinners. And one of the ladies, she lost her husband last summer, and it's been neat. Like, she's been praying for my husband, and just sends me text messages. How's he doing? Let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing what I can do, or how I can bless you, or how I can help you. And I didn't even know what to tell her, but like I needed to tell her something because she felt like she needed to do something. And so my husband said, I really like banana pudding. And so she's out of town right now, but when she gets back, she's making banana pudding for him. And she's,
Aw.
I'm gonna try that next time. Dessert.
Right.
I need dessert. But it's true, because people just want to help, you know?
Yeah.
And if you can give them like an assignment, then everyone's happy. So why not an assignment with sugar? like,
Absolutely. Sugar or
Just a
caffeine.
little
Let's
food.
do something. One of the two.
Carol, you're on my trail.
he is off caffeine. He's
Yeah.
mostly off sugar. So he'll probably have like 4 bites of this banana pudding, but she'll be incredibly happy that she made it for him. And that's something sweet that she can do. No pun intended. But he's not eating sugar really, and he's not drinking coffee. No caffeine.
Yeah,
Well,
his
good
heart
for
doesn't,
him.
his heart
Wow.
doesn't need the help right now.
No, it really doesn't need the help, but he doesn't like how it makes him feel now.
Okay.
But I mean, he was in the hospital for 3.5 weeks with 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
his
for him.
body's kind of detoxed from it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, we're glad that you're both okay, and I hope
Yeah.
the 18 hours goes okay too.
That's a
Let
long
us
drive.
let us know if you hop into Lost Magic and it goes well. Like, it'll be interesting to kind of hear if he can kind of hop in there
Yeah.
with you. It'd be
Well,
good for
I
me
mean,
to kind of know.
he hears me talk about you all the time, so
Yeah.
even my coworkers.
That's
Give
they're
him-
like, please stop talking about Katie.
Don't tell him everything, so he might get curious about it. And
Yeah. Well, I do
You're
have
like,
the audiobooks. I could share the audiobooks with him.
Yeah.
So
Don't get crazy. No, I'm just kidding. My husband has not read my books. He's read.
Really?
He broke his ankle 7 years ago, and it was shortly after I'd published Miss Mabel's, like a year or two after I published Miss Mabel's, and I took his crutches away after his surgery. And I gave him the book, and I was like, read it. I mean, he was like, he's a Green Beret in the Special Forces, right? So like reading Miss Mabel's School for Girls isn't like the top of his list. It was hilarious. He was like, you're serious? And I was like, what you gonna do?
Wow, you miseried him.
And then the punk, he finishes, he's like, it was better than I thought. And I was like, now what's that supposed to mean? I think he did it on purpose, because I was like, I don't think I need you to read these. Never mind. So he will be ahead of my husband at any rate. Oh, that's awesome. Well, everyone, thank you.
I have a
Yes.
silly question.
Shoot,
When I'm
Debbie.
reading, that's what I do. If something comes up and I'm like, oh hey, I'm gonna write that down. Okay, this is a really silly question.
Yeah.
In the High Priest's Daughter, when they go to Perth, why does a whole bunch of why do they smell funny?
Wait,
Because
Perth.
you talk about you talk about how it's a certain smell because there's a whole lot of witches there.
Is Perth where the like the camp is with all the injured? Am I thinking of something else?
The High Priest's Daughter? No, I can't remember who Bianca goes there with. Is it Martin
or Michelle?
Not Michelle.
Okay, hold on. Let me. I've got pulled up. Let me just search the PDF.
I should have marked down the page. I just kept track of the book and where it happened.
Okay, they moved north. No, Michelle's cousin lives outside Perth, and her father is injured. And Perth is the because they're going to cousin Luke. Bianca's gone to Perth before with Martin, it says. Let's see.
Isn't that where all of the injured were?
That's what I'm wondering, the injured people.
That's what I thought. I said, is that the camp where the
smell
injured
of
are?
magic is what the book said, though. It was like the smell of magic or the smell of a lot of witches. I'm trying to, if I should have wrote down
right
what
here.
page.
A stench hovered on the air like sewer water and cow dung.
Yeah.
The result of so many witches packed into one place.
Oh, that's body odor.
Great line. Fantastic line. Well done, Katie.
But I was like, why do witches smell funny?
I think it's because in Perth they have set up that camp where she finds Brecken. And there's all of the injured witches there, and then there's guardians and the injured witches, and then people from villages have come to Perth to settle with all of the advancing South and West Guards. So it's just there's a lot of people right there in those housemates. Okay. Yeah. Oh, not Perth, Australia. No, Jade. Yeah, Perth, Australia really smells like cow dung.
Unless she based your book off.
I'm going there in July, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think, Dan.
Perth smells beautiful. Perth is a lovely place.
That's funny. Oh, that's super funny.
I just thought it was funny where I'm like,
that's a great line.
That's an interesting way to describe the smell of witches. What are we?
Yeah. I don't read my books typically after I've published them. There's a couple of my romance books that when I've had a bad day, I'll reread some scenes because I think they're really sweet. But I don't really go back and read my books that much. And that's why. I'll like read a line and be like, what was I thinking? Why did I say it that way? Like, oh, that's an interesting line, Katie. Anyway. Well, yeah, write down any questions you have. That's the beauty of this call. Well, all of you, I am going to be hard at work this week finalizing Prana. Sorry, it's Prana. Because what day is it? We're going to finalize Prana for the launch team, and hopefully the audiobook comes home from the salon, and I will have some better dates for you. Carol, to answer your question from, I think, Friday, I'm finishing up Protect Me, which is my next romance book. I'm finishing that up, the first draft of that this week. I actually think we'll be launching it around the 1st of June. So
awesome.
It just depends on what my beta readers can do, because I already... They're doing Derek right now. They're going to do the Forgotten Gods in like a week. And so I can't really and then they have to do the secret novella. So I'm like, I don't have enough beta readers. I have too many books. So it might come to the point where I actually might pull some of my Rockstar Romance readers and say, hey, read this early for me. Because my beta readers are like so busy right now.
Yes.
So anyway,
Yes.
Yeah. Andy, all of you are at the top of the list if you're interested. So yeah, anyway, so that might be a book that I turn over to all of you and just get your thoughts on early to make sure there's nothing big and ugly in it, right? But Protect Me is such a sweet little book, you guys. I love Vikram so much. You're going to love him. It's like having Sushmita with you.
All right.
He's like consulting me on his Indian heritage and everything like that. So Oh, Jade, I will shoot the book your way then. Anyway, so I just wanted you to know, Carol, that we're looking at June probably for that. So
Okay.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm certainly
And
not in
then
charge
should
of
I
my
just
girl.
go ahead and order the coffee shop series that you have on the paperbacks? Should
If
I
you want
just
to,
go ahead and order?
It'll probably at least be, it might be next week before I can get Smoke and Fire
Oh.
and Clean Sweep up. So it's
That's
up to
fine.
you.
I'll just
Yeah.
order what you got up.
What happened was my source file got deleted. So I have to go back through and put it all the way back through formatting and proofreading
Oh, fudge
on
nuggets.
the last two. So that's just what it's taking me a little bit longer. I just have to.
Well, don't worry about that.
I know I have books to write, so
Yeah,
it just
you
gets
have books to write, girlfriend.
it just gets a little lower on the totem pole for sure. But
Put it
Try
at
to
the
cut your
bottom.
finger off.
I was taking the recycling out. This is what you get for saving the planet, right? And something sliced. So I sort my recycling and then have
I
to
do
take
too.
it to like separate recycling facilities. Yeah. So we have like a shed of recycling. So every now and then when like cans are spilling out, like my husband's like, take the damn recycling. So I cut my finger off. And it's the finger that opens my laptop. So now I have to like type the password in like it's 19
no.
or it's like 2005. Just kidding. All right, everyone. Thank you. It's so fun to chat with you. We'll see some of you on Friday again.
Yes, so countdown 4
Yes,
days
yes.
from now.
That's right.
Yes.
Hi,
So-
Claire.
Probably
wake
by
up
then
in
we'll know
time.
when we are.
I know. What day is it, Carol? Yeah. So Friday, when the launch team gets their copies of Piranha, actually, you know what? I'll send it to you Thursday. It's a short book. Jade's gonna be there on Friday. Oh my gosh, you and Lila are crazy. So I'll send the launch team Piranha on Thursday. And then if you like want to talk about it on Friday, we can. Well, I mean, there might be other people there, but we'll just let them know.
Yeah.
What it is.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Thursday, my friends, you will have your book.
All
And we will
right.
chat Friday. So, all right. Love you all. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
Bye,
Zach.
guys.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
good day, whatever it is.